Rock stars, are we live? Hello? Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Here we go. Now we're live. All right. I'm seeing the folks come in now. Here we go. All right. Excellent. My friends, my name is Eric Andreas, also known as Your Guitar Sage. Welcome to Your Guitar Breakthrough. This is our second live broadcast that we've done. So let me tell you really quickly what we've done and where you should be, the whole enchilada. So I do this one time a year called Your Guitar Breakthrough. It's basically an opportunity to get personal lessons from me, more than 50 of my best behind the paywall premium lessons. They're literally, folks pay for these. I'm making them available to you today for free. And I go live with you for 4 hours. I did 2 hours last week. I'm doing 2 hours tonight. Okay. And so we talked about some basics. I gave you access to those plus 50 lessons. You're going to find those in the description of the video, right? Which is just below. You'll see it in the description. That's available to you. If you haven't done that, that's like the number one thing, because that's going to give you access to all of these guitar lessons. And then, of course, I'm here with you right now. You're live, so you could get those questions answered for you today, even if you weren't at the one last week. But you can watch that one because over close to 2,000 people have watched that already. Okay, so I'm seeing some comments come in already. So beautiful. Daisy, so good to see you. Wanter 56, greetings from stormy south of Lake Erie, Lorain, Ohio. There's Wendy Ace in Ohio. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to delve into it. So your two things are, or really the one thing is, link is in the description of that video. If you haven't taken advantage of those videos, my friends, do that, because the methodology there is solid. I promise you, and it's going to help a ton with everything that you're trying to learn on guitar. Hello, Buck. Let's do this thing. Great to see you too, sir. All right. So last week we talked about some basics. We talked about fretting. We talked about picking. We talked about, all the bits and pieces in regards to how to properly fret. We talked about the pick rest. Lots of things that we covered. Okay. Hello, Analog Kid. Beautiful. Good to see you. Don, good to see you, buddy. So first off, are there any questions? Let's start off with any questions. And then I have 1, 2, 3, probably 4 things that I want to cover with you today that to me are some of the biggest things. And those are, number 1, how to understand how to use a capo. Okay? Hello, Frank. Good to see you, buddy. How to, a capo. You say, I know how to use a capo. You clamp it on your guitar. Yes. But do you know how to play in every single key because of this? And do you know how to do it quickly? And can you do it in the key of C major and the key of G major? If you can't, we're going to talk about that today, because it's extremely important that you understand how to do that. Okay? So we're going to talk about that capo. We talk about the essential chords, what I call the 9 essential chords. 9, 8, 10, somewhere around there are the chords that you're going to use the most. And if you play in the key of G major and C major, like I always tell folks to do, makes it so much easier. Hello, Mikkel, so good to see you in Norway. Love it. If you understand these few chords, you can play in almost all songs in the key of G major or C major, okay? Many, many songs that you can play. Literally tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of songs that you can play. We're going to talk about transitions. So moving from one chord to the next, very important, and folks have issues with this all the time, right? And then the last thing probably that I'll be talking with you, other than any questions that you guys might have for me today, is strumming. How to properly strum, how to listen to a song and know how to strum. Okay, there's a certain pattern, right, that's going on there. So I want to teach all that to you today, okay? So jumping into it, let's talk about the capo. And if I see any questions pop up, I'm just going to get to them in real time, okay? So first off, the capo, there's many different types of capos. I have many here. I'm probably looking at about 7 of them right just in front of me right now. This is your standard clip-on. Guys like This is guitar X. Kaiser, it's Kaiser? Yeah, Kaiser is clamp. This is a Planet Waves that's clamp. But then there's another one that is also, I say clamp, they all clamp on, but they do it in different ways. Like this is a spring-loaded one, right? So like whatever the spring, however much pressure it's creating is how much pressure it's creating. Whereas these are adjustable. So you see this little knob right here. And so I can adjust that. And like this one. Now this is spring-loaded, but it's also adjustable. So it does both. That's pretty rare. And this one actually has a tuner built in. So many different types of capos. Uh-oh. That is my director. Is he saying that I'm online or I'm out or I'm not online at all? Hello, sir. Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, man, you're on the backup.
I'm on the backup. Ah, God. All right.
That's what's going on. That's why there's no one there.
Okay. Well, there's folks. I'm watching them. We're talking. I mean, they're logged in.
On the backup?
I don't know. I didn't go on the backup. I did the one the next one.
Yeah, it says backup at the beginning of the name. That's the one you're live on.
Jeez.
It's unlisted, so how did they even get there?
Okay. Well, I got folks in the chat right now, so I don't know what to do then.
How did they get there?
I don't know. I guess send folks over from the other one if you see it.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what to do. Okay, well, I'll see. It looks like there's only a few people over here. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.
Bye.
I'll try. Thanks.
All right, sorry, man. We must, daggone it, we have some sort of screw up. But I'm so glad that you guys are here. So you guys must have gotten some sort of a notification, but I'm seeing 29 of you here. So I apologize for that. We have a backup. We always create a backup. And when it if we have a failure, which is very rare, but when we do have a failure, we bump over to that. But for some reason, this went straight to the backup. Ah, boy. Okay. Okay. You get the ones that are here, and the ones that aren't, I apologize. Dear Lord. Okay. So we're going to keep going. Capo. Let's talk about it. All right. So we have many different types of capos. And you might say to yourself, well, why would I need one capo over another? Well, usually for acoustic guitars, these spring-loaded kinds are fine. But when you're talking about the electric guitar, when you take a capo and you put it on an electric, because the guitar is a little bit more sensitive to things like bending and what have you, when you do that, you might have a guitar that's in tune, and then you put on the capo, and then the chord is out of tune. Slightly, okay? And that's because it presses down the strings too hard. So this is where a nice adjustable capo comes in, and then with that you can just kind of torque it down just enough to Okay, Davey, thank you so much for that. I just clicked on the link that I was emailed. Okay, then we may be on the right one. I just don't know. Either way, you guys are here. And there's 54 of you, so, okay. So see how that sounds much better than the other one? The other one was more out of tune. So if you have an electric guitar, if you have an adjustable, okay, it's going to be much better. Okay, now in regards to using the capo, okay, check this out. If we're playing chords, and I'm going to get the acoustic guitar here, okay? But when we're playing chords, you know, notice that when we're playing, say, like in the key of G major, we have chords like G, A minor, C, D, E minor, right? When we're playing the key of C major, we have C major, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, right? We have all of these nice open chords. If we play in the key of, let's take another open key, let's take the key of E major. Our only open chords would be E major and A major. And then you have a B major, and you got a bunch of bar chords, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with the key of A major. In the key of A, you have three open chords. You have A, D, and E. Everything else is a bar chord. So when it comes to making things nice and easy, if you keep things in the feel of G major or the feel of C major using your capo, it makes everything so much easier. Okay, if you want to make it harder, if you want to play bar chords, I mean, I play bar chords all the time, but I don't try to make things harder than they are. I try to make things easier, more fun, right? This is not a push-up contest. We're just trying to play music. And a lot of people let their ego get in the way, and then they, they're like, I can't believe you would play with a capo. And it's like, why wouldn't you play with a capo? In Nashville, some of the best guitar players in the world, in fact, all of the best guitar players in the world, they use those capos because they understand how valuable they are and how powerful they are, I should say, in the studio and live and everywhere else. Why? Well, because if someone says, hey, would you play in the key of G major? Well, our same G major, right? All of our open chords that we were playing, if they've said, play in the key of G sharp, now you're playing, like that would be your bar chord, you'd be playing all these crazy forms, all these crazy bar chord forms. And so it'd be so much easier just to put a capo on the guitar and to play up a half step. That's it. Right? Now we're playing the key of G sharp. I could play in the key of A, I just bump it up a half step. We could just keep going with that. And I've included, there's Mike. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for bringing everybody over. I appreciate that, sir. Okay, so being able to put these things in the feel of G major or the feel of C major is really, really helpful. And it really, I have the capo key chart for you that I've created. And then just knowing some basic math like I teach you in those 50 lessons that I'm making available for you, links in the description of the video, that stuff will absolutely help you get this stuff down, okay? I know you want to learn it like in 10 seconds, but it's going to take a little bit more than that, and you're going to have to like learn the basic process. But once you do, you'll never forget it, and you'll have it for life, okay? In fact, I do these boot camps, and I just had a bunch of my folks learn how to play the guitar by ear. And after 4 weeks, everybody was able to do this. And they were able to do it with flying colors. So you might say, well, that's a long time, 4 weeks. But realistically, it took me a lot longer to do the stuff that I showed my students in 4 weeks. A lot longer. So you can do all this stuff. It needs to be step by step. As I say, everybody can play guitar. Anybody can play guitar. And any and everybody could play guitar well, excellently, if they desired it enough. Because the desire, what that does is it creates a craving, right? A hunger to do this thing. And when you have that, because you've had this before in your life for many things, whether it was, going after your spouse, or it was going after a job, or it was going after an audition or something like that, you've had this hunger before, right? You did whatever you could. So the same thing is true when it comes to playing an instrument or doing anything else. You have the ability to, or I should say, if you have the desire to, then you acquire the information, you apply the information that's proven, things like chords and how to fret and how to strum and stuff, and now you're able to do it. It's literally, that is the formula. And here's the secret, it's not so much a secret, but for some reason people forget this, the more often you do this thing, the better that you get at it. And the sky is the limit. So you may believe, well, I can get better. I know I can get better. But you probably don't believe that you could be as good as Stevie Ray Vaughan or beyond. Most people have a hard time believing that because they're like, well, number one, I don't practice that way. Okay, now we're talking truth, right? But if you really desired to and you practiced as much as Stevie Ray Vaughan, if you practice like Stevie did, you're going to be playing like Stevie. You're going to be your own person. But what I'm saying is these variables are malleable and we can work them. I've met guitar players who, after playing for 1 year, were better than some guitar players that have been playing for 20, 30 years. That's because they were focused on the right stuff, they were practicing the right things, and they practiced tenaciously because they loved it. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Okay, yeah, just like Eric said, basic math, but he means counting on your fingers, literally. I mean, just so much, it's easy stuff, really easy stuff. The brief capo description just put it together for me. Oh, beautiful, love that, Wendy, that makes me so happy. Okay, that was a short description, but hey, we get the idea, right? Okay, for some reason, I've got my computer's doing something real weird on my screen here. Okay, we're good, we're back. All right, so now if you have questions about the capo, feel free to ask, but I've created that capo key chart for you just for this, okay? And again, when you start learning these bits and pieces, it's more just like someone gives you a roadmap. Now that's half of it. The other half is to get your fingers to do what they need to do, and that just requires practice. But there are things that a teacher can teach you about a specific subject that are like tricks and hacks and shortcuts and things that are going to get you to your goal quicker. The number one thing I say is to know why you're playing guitar. What is it that you want to do? Why are you playing guitar? And I have folks answer this early on in those 50 videos I'm giving you. Links in the description, right? They talk about why is it that you want to play the guitar? Because if someone who's like, I just want to play heavy metal songs in my basement is going to be different than someone who's like, I want to play blues jams live. Different than, I want to move to Nashville and become the best studio player ever, as opposed to the person who's like, I just want to play live with every artist possible. I just want to play live. I just love live performances. Each one of those guitar players has a completely different set of things that they need to learn in order to achieve their goal, and different things to focus on. So when you know these things, see what happens is you focus on the right stuff, meaning you don't practice a bunch of stuff you don't need to. So there's a gazillion shortcuts, things that I can help you with, like this, right, that we're talking about. Irene, good to see you. All right, so that's capos, right? 9 essential chords. Let's talk about this. There's 9 essential chords. G, A minor, C major, D minor, E minor, E major. Oh, A major, I forgot that one, and a B7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I forgot the A major as well. So A minor, A major. Anyhow, I'm not going to go with all through those with you because I have those available for you inside that course. But here's the reason these are great, is because when you're working in a particular key, what we're talking about, when we're talking about the key of a song or the tonal center, what we're talking about is we're talking about basically the musical subject. So if the song has this sort of tempo, 2, 3, 4, then that's the basic tempo. And so that means something to the drummer. Because if that's the 1, 2, 3, 4, then automatically a drummer knows, okay, then the and is the 1 and 3 and 4 and that sort of thing. So those are the important things that, say, a drummer would need to know. As far as a musical instrument, no offense, drummers, you're very musical, but what I mean is like a melodic instrument, more melodic. They're definitely creating pitches, but not in the same way that we would, right, with chords and chord progressions and that sort of thing. But just like the drummer needs that timing, musicians need to know the key, because the key determines everything. It determines what chords are going to be played, how you would solo in it, this, that, and the other thing, okay? And so these chords, in the 9 essential chords, these work great because they're in a few different keys. They're in, a lot of them are in G and a lot of them are in C. So a lot of them are the same. Like for instance, in the key of G major and the key of C major, we have a G, we have a C, we have an A minor, we have an E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those 4 chords are in the key of G major and C major. And then as far as some of the other chords, they're just like little tweaks. Okay, so that's why it's so important to understand what those 9 essential chords are. So when you get to that, make sure you go through that and really learn them. And then the next thing that people have issues with is they have issues putting these chords together, right? So they're like, well, Eric, I can play a C chord. right? But when I go to play a G chord, I have to stop. I have to put that finger down. I have to put that finger down. I have to think about this finger. I have to think about that finger. And then I can play the chord. And the problem is, Eric, when I'm playing a song and it goes from C to G, it's happening too quickly. By the way, if I didn't tell you already, this is for tips. Anybody that wants a tip, that is there for you. I forgot to mention that at the top of the show. Sorry about that. So that everybody has that issue. Everybody has the issue where they learn a chord and then it takes time for them to go from one chord to the next. Those are called transitions, right? And so I'm going to show you how to fix that. But here's the deal. Every single issue that you have with guitar, I have had that issue. And everybody watching has had that or still going through that issue. Eddie Van Halen had all these issues. Stevie Ray Vaughan had all these issues. If you don't believe it, you need to do a little research. You're just going to have to, if you don't believe me in this, you're going to have to do the research yourself. But you can watch. Any guitar player who's being honest with you will tell you, yeah, it was a journey, okay? So, again, we all know that practice remedies everything. It fixes everything in regards to becoming better, okay? But what kind of practice? Again, I'm a big fan of hyperfocus. I'm a big fan of what do you want to do? Okay, here is the quickest and most efficient way to that particular thing. Here are all the things you're going to ignore. So ignore those. And here are the 2, 3, 4, 5 things that you need to look at to get where you want to go. Big fan of this, right? And so when it comes to transitions, I say, why don't you work on the chords that you're going to do the most? And then this is how I practice. Let me show you. This is all about hyperfocus. Remember, in order for you to become very quick and very good like the guitar players who you love, you have to understand that they did the same thing that you're doing, except they did it a lot more in regards to the practice. Okay, most of them. They did it a lot more. And so because of that, they got really good at this. And it may look like they're not even trying and you're having to try very hard. And that's true. And that was true for them as well at some point during the continuum. Every single guitar player. And so recognize that. And the reason that that's so powerful that you recognize it is now all of a sudden you are just like John Mayer, you are just like Eddie Van Halen, and we are all on this continuum of being a better and better guitar player. Okay? And the way that we get faster on that, if it were a track, is we just practice more. Or we practice more intently, more hyper-focused, more the specific things that we need to. Because you could practice 8 hours a day on jazz scales when you're never going to play a jazz scale. Maybe you're just a blues player, a rock player. I say just, we need those. I am. And so, like, why are you studying jazz if you don't like jazz and you really like blues and rock? Study blues and rock. Make sense? Okay. So I use this same approach for everything when I teach. And when I'm talking about transitioning chords, going from one chord to the next, I'm all about proper practice, hyper-focused practice, because that's going to get you where you want to get to. Now, this is what I do. Let's say, okay, first off, I take 2 chords and 2 chords only to practice. This is the hyper-focus part. If you're doing more than that, you're not hyper-focusing, you're making it harder, and you're making it just more frustrating. So I take 2 chords. Let's say it's a G and a C. And what I do is I put my hand on the strings like this. I don't do anything as far as strumming. I just put my hands here. And I look and I say, yep, that's a G major chord. And then I say, well, what's a C chord look like? And then I'm like, okay, well, this and this and this. If I were practicing this and I didn't know these chords as well as I do at this point, this is how I practice it. I just build the chord up from the lowest note. Boom, here's my G, boom, boom, boom. I put all my fingers down. Then I'm like, yep, that's secure. And then I play through each one of those notes until I could hear them all. And if I couldn't hear them all, I might do something like this. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I got a muted note there. So now I'm noticing as I'm playing through this note, through this chord, and I got a buzz note. So I got a muted note and a buzz note. So what's going on there? So what I do is I focus on it individually and I say, oh, my finger isn't pressing down hard enough. So got a buzzer there. That's the ring finger. So press down harder there. And that's how I practice my chords, because if you dissect them like that, then you know specifically what's happening with the chord, not I can't play a G chord, or I can't play an F chord. It's like, no, what note in that specific chord can you not play? Great, fix that note. So you know, no problem now, right? So important, guys. In life, take inventory. If you have a, oh my God, I got this thing, going through a divorce, or I'm going through this thing, or I'm going through bankruptcy, or I'm going through whatever. Break it down. Don't look at it as that word. Don't look at it just, it's this huge thing. Break it down to the little pieces, man. Break it down to little pieces and it's doable, right? It's like eating a sandwich. If you had to eat in one bite, that'd be tough, but one bite at a time, you can get it. Same thing is true when you're talking about these chords. You're moving from one chord to the next. You just have to break it down to the bite-sized pieces that your brain can wrap itself around and not go crazy, right? So that's what I do. In slow motion, that's what I do. Then, let's say I'm speeding it up a little bit. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, here's a G chord. Here is a C chord. Now, some people will say, no, you got to put all your fingers down at once. You don't put all your fingers down at once until you put your fingers down singly. Otherwise, that's like trying to juggle and throw all four in the air and think that they're going to be in some sort of sequence. No, you juggle very fast, but it's always a sequence. You can't do them all at once, right? So same thing when we're building something, all the fingers look like they're going down at once, and you know, for all intents and purposes, we could say they are, but realistically, those fingers are pressing down at different times. If we slowed it way down, you would notice that there was a difference. So that's how we build it. We build it from the lowest note to the highest note, because when we strum, we're starting from the lowest note to the highest note, and so it gives us some microseconds sometimes as we're strumming to get it all right. So I would go back and forth between those chords. And I would form that chord, and then eventually I would do it to some sort of timing. Like I might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, next chord, and it would give me some time, 3, 4, 1, 2, G chord, and it gives me time to form the chord, right? And then I would break it down to like one measure at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and wherever you are is where you are. Don't judge it, okay? What I mean by don't judge it is, you know that you need to get better. You don't need to pound it into your head or whip yourself. You suck, you suck. You know, I've seen this guy punching his guitar online. You guys probably seen this video. If you only realize that that's everybody, you know what I mean? It's not him, it's just, but when you expect too much of yourself, look, I love David Goggins, and I love people who expect much from themselves, and I want you to expect a lot from yourself. But what I'm saying is, there's no hero in going, I don't have to practice, I can do a long jump and just, you know, throw your hammies out or something like that, or I don't have to practice, music runs in my family, and then you get out on stage and you embarrass yourself. There's no hero in thinking that you can do something and then failing, right? I mean, of course you want to believe in yourself, but what I'm saying is be realistic and say, I really need to practice this, because it's all about that practice. If you can practice, then you can overcome anything, but you got to do the work, okay? So make it fun. So take 2 chords and 2 chords only, and you're going to go back and forth with those transitions. And like I said, at first you're just going to do this, and then eventually you're going to bring in a strum, and with enough time that you could think about and form those chords. In time, with practice, this is the only thing that's going to get you to play those chords on time like you want. Questions? Let me know. I'm watching. All right, 60 of you beautiful souls in here, okay? Okay, let's talk about strumming here. When it comes to strumming, a lot of people get this wrong in the beginning, and it really is very simple if you break it down to this, okay? When we have a beat going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we have a downbeat. That's when our foot hits the ground or we clap, right? So think about my foot hitting the ground like this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when my hand comes up, thank you, Mark. Super kind of you, my friend. I'm here for you. Let me know how I can help. when your foot hits the ground, that's the downbeat. When your foot comes up, that's the upbeat. It's the antithesis of the beat, right? The anti-beat, if you will. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? We want to think about our strumming hand strumming down on a down strum and up on the up strum in tandem with the down beats and up beats. Whether we hit something or not, our hand should be moving like that. For instance, if my strumming rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 4, then it looks the same as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It looks the same, it doesn't sound the same. So watch my hand, it doesn't double up or get cut in half. I don't go, or I go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I don't go 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, right? I don't do that because the beat is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. My hand should be going down with the downbeat. Make sense? So when we have the upbeats, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay, that's like a basic strum. And if you don't have that down, you need to get that down before you move on to others, okay? So if we were to skip a beat, let's say we take the and a 4 out, then we're going to keep moving our hand because we need to have that momentum going so we're in the right place at the right time when our hand is called on again for that specific strum. Watch. If I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I skip that beat, I don't do this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Now I'm backwards. Now my ones, now my downbeats are where my strums are, my up strums are, my up strums are where my down beats are, and it's no good, you know what I'm saying? Hello, Marine Mama, and hello, Rick. Good to see you, my friend. The metronome is your friend. Exactly, yes, yes. So, so back to strumming, right? So if we skip a note, if we skip something like that, we keep our hand moving all the time. If we miss all of them. I mean, look, if we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, we're missing, these are up strums and these are ghost strums because we're not actually hitting, that's what they call them, ghost strums. So and. My hand's not hitting the strings. And the only thing I need to do to hit the strings is to just bring my pick a little closer. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And it's not a big deal. We do this already. So if you just do this, you know how to ghost strum. And so most strums are going to be, you know, they're going to have some downbeats and some upbeats out, you know. So if I said 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and my hand looks like it's going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It just looks like it's doing that, right? Watch. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and or 1, 3, and 4, and 1, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and. Looks like it's doing the same thing each time. It's just going pop, 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 because you want to keep that. That's your metronome going on, right? And so you want to keep your hand moving like that and then just play when it's time, okay? Now, that's what we got for strumming. Questions. Hit me up with questions. And then I'm probably going to transition over here to the guitar, because I'm going to do some examples here with the electric. And because, you know, really the things that excite me the most about music is really how it works, how it intertwines and works together, harmony and all that good stuff. I love that stuff. A lot of the stuff that I showed you last week and this week are things that you absolutely are going to use all the time for the rest of your life, just like these 50 lessons I'm giving you. That's why I say, or plus 50 lessons. The reason I'm giving those to you is because those are the ones that you're going to use the most in your life. Absolutely, bar none, hands down. You'll just forever use them. You're always going to strum. You're always going to fret. You're always going to be making chords and moving from chord to chord. These are things that every guitar player needs to know. And unfortunately, a lot of people skip over because they want to get to the good stuff right away. This is the good stuff. This is the best stuff. So don't be fooled, and don't let anybody, teacher or player with an ego tell you that, oh, you need to be studying this if it's not of interest to you. Okay, and if it's not based in those essentials, because the foundations are where all the masters become great. Every single master. Every master has the basics down. If they don't have those basics down, they can't ever get to anything else. And they usually have them down in spades. Make sense? Okay. Daisy has a question here. I have a question which you don't have to address immediately or at all. I have learned from your lessons the first position minor pentatonic scale. What are the other pentatonic scale shapes? What are the other pentatonic scale shapes? Okay, so let's talk about this. It's a good transition actually into what I was going to do here. So So this, I could play, this is in E minor, okay? And so I could use your basic E minor, you guys have seen this one before, right? It looks like this, it's like, so first pinky, first third, first third, first third, first pinky, first pinky. You guys have seen that one, right? That's the one Daisy's talking about here. That's called first position, minor pentatonic. And it goes super easy. The number one scale you should learn like right away, right? I say there's two scales. There's the pentatonic and there's the major. And the major scale you learn because you want to understand how music works. And the pentatonic scale, just because if you want to noodle, it's a great tool, okay? So again, from the 12th fret, play this along with me, right? And this is obviously first, second, third, fourth, right? First, second, third, fourth. So we're going to say 1, 4. This is at the 12th fret. 1 and 4. 1 and 3. 1 and 3. That is the pentatonic scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we end again with the tonic. But it's still only 5 notes. And if we wanted to continue that, we have 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3. Here's the rest of it. 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4. Make sense? Now, that's E minor pentatonic. Now, if I play an E minor chord progression, I could use this all day long. And the question is, Daisy's saying, what are the other pentatonic shapes? So let's talk about it real quick. So if I play this here, I could do it at the open position here too. Okay, so now we have, with that being said, because the way the guitar works, so like we have a high E, right? We have this high E string. Same note can be played right here. Same note can be played right here, right here, right here, right here, and I bend that note up. So we get the same note, that high E can be played 6 different ways right there alone. Now, what that means is the guitar replicates itself. So unlike the piano, a middle C is a middle C, right? But on the guitar, you can play many notes, especially the ones in the middle, you can play them many different times. Many different ways. Now the low E, you can only play, there's only one note because you can't play any lower than the low E unless you detune your guitar. And this note is the highest note that you're going to get unless you had more frets or higher pitched, higher pitched strings. So on the outside of the spectrum, right, on the ends of it, obviously you're not going to double those because there's a stop. There's a lowest note and a highest note. But in the in-between notes, many of those in-between notes you can replicate many times on the guitar. And so because of that, you could take a scale, let's say like the 5-tone scale here or the pentatonic scale, and you can play it all over the neck in many different ways. And so what Daisy's saying is, like, what are those other pentatonic shapes? And in fact, Daisy, here you go, y'all. In those top 50 lessons that I give you, I am 99% sure that I give you all the different pentatonic positions. 99% sure that I do. Okay? So, because, and I think it's in the blues, I'm almost positive that I have that for you. Anyhow, that being said, I do have it in other courses, okay? So, So we have this form here. And so, basically, the 5-note scale is the 5-note scale. And so if you're playing it like this, or it's only 5 notes, but we're going through different octaves and we're playing them on different places on the neck, so we can come up with different licks and what have you. So, if we take this progression here, I'm thinking I'm in the key of A. Here we go. Open position. So we can basically, what's happening is we can play this all over the neck, but it's the same notes, okay? I don't know if that answers the question for you. Now what you would do with them is this, you learn it to phrase in just one position of the neck. That's, in my opinion, that's kind of the best way to do this, is you learn it like in one position, like for instance, and so you learn to phrase using a small amount of neck, usually 2 strings, 2 frets, somewhere around there. Like I talk about that all the time, where minimalistic blues is what I call it. But basically you learn one part of the neck. Once you learn one part of the neck, you can go to all the different parts of the neck and bring it with you, okay? If that doesn't make sense, it's like, well, here, if I say, it's just, basically I'm playing the same thing, right? And so that is, thank you so much, Max, very kind of you. That is how to learn how to phrase. So like take a child, right? A child, when they're just a baby, they learn, hungry, potty, ow, love, mommy, daddy, like basic things like that. But those babies can live a good 1 year, 2 years without learning anything else and getting everything they need, food and everything else for the most part, right? So what I'm saying to you is you don't have to have a huge vocabulary to say what it is that's on your mind. Literally, if I just take 2 frets, 2 notes, just going to take that, right? And if I do that, I can literally play some sort of solo. Now really what I was doing there was just right here in these 2, I was using 2 strings and just between these 2 frets. Every now and then I would throw in this note when that B7 chord, 7 chord would appear, and I'd play that note right there. But you notice, right, that it's not like I'm scaling all over the fretboard and playing in, just some craziness. And so learn the basics. Just learn how to speak, And I show you how to do this in a series called Minimalistic Blues. This is, oh, by the way, I did not mention, y'all. Number 1, if you haven't gotten the top 50 lessons, you know what to do. Do that right now, right? Link is in the description of the video. But we also have just a wicked great deal going on right now if you really want to learn some of the other stuff that I'm talking about, like this, if you want to learn how to solo and what have you, because the Unstoppable Guitar System is over 1,000 videos. You get everything in 365 guitar plan, and then you get everything in UGS Pro, which is a huge course. Anybody who's in UGS and you can vouch for it, please say UGS and then something, whatever you want to say about it. Let folks know that I'm not playing around here. I really do love teaching guitar, and I'm good at it, and I can help you get where you want to get to. Okay, okay, there you go. So that's for me, that's what opened it up. Is honestly like learning how to solo like that. So it's very simply, and then I was playing guitar for so long when all that clicked. So long. No guitar teacher ever showed it to me. I found it myself, and then I'm like, well, I'm going to teach that, right? So there you go. Okay, other questions. Did I see another question coming through here? UGS rules. Thank you, Winter. Caliban, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Beautiful. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Barb. So kind of you. Mark said, what effects are you using on this? Delay and reverb. Yes, that's exactly right. Delay and reverb. Analog Kid, yes, thank you. UGS is a great place to learn. Thank you. Thank you so much, Irene. Okay, so, yeah, I like to have a lot of, thank you, Dave. Beautiful. A lot of reverb in there. Because with it, I can do all sorts of really cool stuff. In fact, one thing that I'll do is I also have this infinity pedal. So I'll do this thing where I'll go. So much fun, right? So much fun. You start getting into the electric, and then you can do, loops like I'm doing. You can do 5-packs. Just that. Is your course good for older learners? The majority of the folks in my class are older learners. I mean, honestly, thank you so much, Gene. If you want to say your age in here and you're in UGS Pro, please let 5-pack know. Absolutely. We have so many. Thank you, Analog Kid. We have so many seniors in our courses, like so many. The majority of folks are. So it absolutely is. I like doing step by step, lots of wins. Rick's saying I don't get good volume for my high E like the other strings. Sounds more like a ping. I'm not sure what that is, Rick. What sounds more like a ping. I would make sure that your pickup is not touching the string itself, okay? Wanter, 70, beautiful, thank you, sir. Irene, 79. See, here we go, look. Absolutely, 74, UGS Platinum, we got 60, we got 72. I've had folks in my 90s in there, so yeah, absolutely, 60 plus. So, yeah, I do have a kids course as well, but we got lots of folks in here that, and it's a great community. Okay, when you're getting into UGS Pro, we have a community, like a big community. Okay, and thank you, Daisy, and we have a huge community. Meaning you have boards and what have you, and you can go in there and you can talk amongst each other. We also, Pareto, thank you so much. Barb, thank you so much. Working on 70. Good. Yes, 67. Here 59. Here we go. So we also do these live broadcasts like this, except they're just for folks that are inside the program. You're so welcome, Rick. A ping sound it may be the tight nut slot. Yeah, it could be right up here. Just make sure you can pick, you can get notes out of that, and then I would check to make sure that it isn't being impeded by something. So use your common sense, use your faculties to listen, to feel, to see what's going on, right? Thank you, Marine Mama. Beautiful. So understanding how to do these things, like breaking down finger style pieces, breaking down solos, all this stuff. My job, I feel like, is multifaceted, but the things that are called upon me the most are I say it's encouragement, but it's not encouragement. Basically, it's showing. It's kind of like when Tony Robbins says, I'm not a motivational speaker. He's not. What he does is he teaches techniques and you get very motivated when he teaches these techniques, and now all of a sudden your business is doing great, or your body's doing great, or whatever. And so what I feel like my job to do, thank you, Drew, so kind. I feel like what my job to do is to get you to understand things in a true way, right? Because if you understand things in a true way, the truth will set you free, you've heard, right? It absolutely will set you free. Even if it's not the information that you want in the moment, it will get you to the next level, whatever that next level is, okay? The truth will set you free. And so it is true. Yes, beautiful. 65, UGS Pro. Didn't know the musical alphabet when I signed up. Whole, half. Gene knows that little section, that whole, half, which is how the major scale is built, is literally the fingerprint of music that's all over the world at this point. What do you mean by that, Eric? Well, everything's built off of the major scale, even songs that are built in the minor key or jazz modes and everything else. I teach that. I can't go over it all right now, but let that be known. It's true. It's how all the chords are built. It's how all the chords fit together, and it's everything. And if you know this, it helps so much with understanding music, okay? Thank you, Mark. I love your common sense comment. Yeah, absolutely. Davey's asking how the NF53 compares to the Fender Tele. Man, they play very similarly, and they sound great, man. I mean, this guitar, I love the way it sounds. I love the way it feels. I use it a lot for blues like this, you know, but a beautiful guitar. And if you guys are looking for a nice guitar, man, PRS makes some great ones. Thank you for that, Paul, 62. Okay, other questions. Whether it's music theory, as I want to get you guys, I want to make sure that when we're done here, like you guys, by the way, we've got an hour, over an hour here, okay? I want you guys to understand music. I want you to walk away today having exhausted everything that I can do for you. So if you have questions right now about the guitar, let's do this. I charge $300 an hour for private lessons, and I know that sounds crazy, but yeah, PRS pickups, Analog Kid, indeed, in here. But the reason is because I really try to do more group lessons than anything else. So take advantage of this time right now. You know, I'm here sitting in front of you. I can answer these questions for you if it's explaining a particular something. Because honestly, that's what it is a lot of times. It's just unlocking. And I found this to be true with everything in life. It's usually just like an unlock, like a key. And once you find that key and you unlock that thing, now it kind of opens up the maze into a bunch of other rooms, you know, and then you're going along that for a while, and then you find another key, and then that opens up a bunch of rooms, right? As a kid, I used to play this game called Adventure. It was like the first video game system, Atari 2600. It was called Adventure, and that's what would happen. You'd have a key, and then it would open up another part of the kingdom and what have you. You guys remember that, right? Good. I love this here, right here. What's the biggest waste of time for a learner? Caliban, this is a fantastic question. Everybody will benefit from this. The biggest waste of time for a learner is focusing on things, spending time on things that they're not going to use. We do this all the time, right? We're looking for something to entertain us or whatever. I do it. I know when I'm doing it, and I'm like, you shouldn't be doing that. You're wasting your time. Create. But the biggest waste of time for a learner is learning things that are not going to move the ball forward, or practicing things that are not going to move the ball forward for them. If you are a rock guitar player and someone says, if you don't know the jazz modes, you will never play rock again, you know, well, that's clickbaity, and somebody might respond to that, but realistically I wouldn't, because that's just not true at all, and you just don't see that. If I saw that popping up a lot, maybe I would jump on that and I would look to see what they mean by that. But learning things that aren't what you want to do. If you are a rock player and you want to play rock and you want to play with your band, you learn those things. If you're learning a bunch of jazz things, that's great, maybe, if you ever needed it. But if you don't need it, now you're learning a bunch of stuff, burning a bunch of brain cells, doing something that isn't going to help you. So to answer the question, which is one of the first questions in the series that I'm giving you guys today, links in the description of the video. It's the over 50 of my top lessons of all times, and I talk about why do you want to play guitar, and you answer that question. Answering that question literally will get you in the right lane to do what it is that you want to do in the quickest way possible. Mark is saying, where do I solo over a 1-4-5 thing when it's G? Do I use G minor pentatonic? When it's a 1-4-5 thing. So what we mean by 1-4-5 thing is a 1-4-5 chord progression. So if you have a chord progression like Just nothing exciting about that necessarily. Okay, so we have that. That's in the key of G major. So if you were to play G minor pentatonic, it won't sound good because this is G major in key, right? So listen. Doesn't sound good. But if we moved it to where pinky was on the G, right? So basically what I'm doing there is I'm just playing a G major pentatonic. So if the song is in a minor key, you're going to use a minor scale, either the minor scale or minor pentatonic or something like that. If it's a major, this is a song in a major key, then a major scale or the major pentatonic is going to work better. Make sense? Okay. You would solo in the key of G using the E minor pentatonic. That's the relative minor. It's a theory thing. Yeah, exactly, Daisy. So she's got it. So for every major key, there is a related minor key, and for every minor key, there's a related major key. And all that means is that those two different keys share the same sets of notes and chords. And you might say, well, how are they different then? Think about yourself on a good day and think of yourself on a bad day. Or a day you might be sad and a day you might be elated, right? If someone saw you on those 2 days, they might be going, that person's totally different than when I met them. Well, you're having a bad day, or you're having a good day, or whatever it is. So minor key scale, major key scale. Okay? Drew is saying, as Eric would say, what's your why? Then move forward in that specific direction. Exactly right. Maybe I could just work on picking with my right hand. I've learned so much theory from you, Sage. Thank you, Marine Mama. That means a lot to me. I love theory. I love understanding the whys of things because unlike practice, which I love practice and it must be done, with theory and with tricks like that, like I can show you, you get a concept, and if you adopt it, first off, if it's true, if you believe it's true, or you apply it and you find out that it's true or whatever, and then you're like, dude, it becomes very, very powerful because now it changes everything that you do. Like for instance, with the capo, right? If I say if you want to play in all these different positions, understanding how to play in G major and C major, and then just moving your capo around to where it feels like G major, C major anytime, is literally a game changer, right? Okay. Yeah, I mentioned the ukulele as being like a guitar, but smaller, maybe easier on your shoulder. Yeah. The ukulele is a super fun instrument to play, and it's very akin to the guitar. In fact, if you take the bottom 4 strings of a guitar and you capoed the guitar at the 5th fret, then the first 3 strings are exact, and then the 4th string is an octave up. So it would sound like. My dog has fleas, right? So that's how a ukulele is. So like the shapes, all the same shapes that we see on the guitar would be right there for the ukulele, except we just play the bottom 4 strings. That takes a little getting used to, but once you do that, it's no problem at all. Relative minor would be the 6th, the 6th scale degree. So let's talk about that for a minute. If we have the major scale, say G major scale, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And the 6th scale degree is the related minor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's E. That means in the related minor of G is E minor. Or you could go 1, 7, 6, and that's how we know, right? anytime you want to know what is major and what's minor, like if you're in this key, you're like, this is the major key, go down 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3, and that's the related minor. If you're in a minor key and this is the key that you're in, then go up 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3, that's a related major, right? And that's just true for every single key. It's that easy. Sorry, Sage, I hurt my left shoulder. It's a long story. I'm seeing my second orthopedic surgeon. The first one that I had cancer. I have been through it all the last few months. No big deal. I'm good. I'm so sorry, Marine Mama. That stinks. Yeah, roller coaster. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I have 3 ukuleles, and for some reason that hurts even more than the pressure with my fingers. I did something to my rotator cuff. I guess I don't know. Yeah, take your time with that, because I mean, sometimes you just have to heal, you know. What would you recommend for a backing track device? Something set tempo and play along with. So Paul's asking. Paul, there's several things that you can do. Number one, if you have a looper like I do, then you can use a looper, and then you can create your backing tracks just immediately, right? So if that's what you mean, let me know. If you talk about a backing track device, what would, you know, if you're asking for the actual device, I'd say like a Ditto pedal, D-I-T-T-O. Yeah, those are small, they're cheap, super easy to use, and those are great for looping, you know. And then also like finding like jam tracks. Like inside of UGS Pro, we've got, oh my gosh, over 600 jam tracks, all in different keys, different styles, different genres. 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 5 chord, 4 chord, like all different types of settings, different tempos, all. So over 600 of them in there. In fact, I've done thousands of visual jam tracks. Some of those come in UGS Pro, but not all of them. Some are sold separately, like they used to say when we were a kid. Batteries sold separately, but they definitely have the jam tracks in there. Okay. Absolutely, Steve. Thank you for that. Yes, good thoughts to you, Marine Mama. I'm thinking what could be the best electric guitar to possibly play. Maybe that would be better. I don't know. I first had to find out what the fuck is wrong with me. I know. I'm so sorry. Yeah, electric might be better. Yeah, absolutely. You could play lap steel. You can get one. Yep, sure. There's all sorts of things. Okay, you're welcome, Paul. Glad that is UGS a one-off payment? It can be. So we have a special deal going on right now, and y'all, seriously, if you are thinking about getting to UGS Pro, the deal that we're doing right now is a ridiculous deal. It is a bonkers deal. So if you're thinking about getting in, now's a great time, and you're going to save just like an insane amount of money. Just follow the link, and you can see what all is in there, because it's a lot. There's so much in there. I can't go into it right now. If you have questions about it, I'll let you know. But I go live with you 3 times a month, so for 3 hours a month, you see me like this, but it's behind the paywall, you know, in with a group. Over 1,000 lessons, including UGS Pro. Including 365 Guitar Plan. A bunch of courses within courses. It's all organized really well, step by step. You can't mess up with it. And we have, you can do a one-off payment. We do have monthly payments as well. So it's 19 bucks a month. But if you want to get in for life and get just a mega deal, that's what we're doing right now. And we also, with that, do payments. So if you wanted to do, I think, 3 payments, I think we have a system set up for that, 3 or 4 payments. Okay? Okay. Thank you so much, Marine Mama. Beautiful. Yeah, so when you hear things, look, this how to play guitar by ear course that I just did with my students, we had so many people go through that and they crushed it. Literally by the end of it, everybody had it. Everybody had it down, and it was not difficult for them to get to. You say, well, why doesn't everybody do it? Because some people just don't teach it very well. And that was I've just never was taught the things that I teach. No one taught me that stuff. And so many concepts that I know now were like, they would escape me. And I'm like, what is that? And I'd have to figure it out myself. And then because I got to it by myself, I'm a hacker. That's what I do. I break things down so people can understand them. I'm good at explaining things and getting people out of a hole. And so, so many of these concepts will literally set you free, okay? Ah, beautiful. That's beautiful, Drew. Thank you. I haven't even scratched the surface of UGS Pro. Yeah, when I say it is a lifetime of lessons, it is a lifetime of lessons. I mean, there's just so much in there. Thank you, Marine Mama. Yeah, and I love doing the lives. We do 3 of those a month inside the program. All right. That is true. Some people remove the 5th and 6th string if you want to try that before getting a ukulele. Yeah, and capo it at the 5th fret. You're just going to be like, oh, okay, I can do that. Now, all the shapes are the same, but the names are different, of course, because you're capoed at the 5th fret. So that takes a little getting used to, but you'll get it fine. Okay? All right. So, yeah, so when I play a chord progression like this, right? I can feel it coming in the air tonight, right? Oh Lord. That's a E minor, that's a D chord, that's a C chord, and a D chord. So E minor, D, C, D. And so like all those chords work well together because they're all in the same key. And this is, we're having a discussion about a particular thing. Let's say we're talking about, I was going to say politics. Let's say we were talking about the beach. Okay, if we were talking about the beach, we would probably talk about things like wind and water and shells and whatever. So it'd be strange for us to talk about data centers because it has nothing to do with the beach. And so you could think about notes and chords within a particular key as being like a subset of a much greater set of notes and chords and that sort of thing. But those specific notes and chords work well together like in a conversation. And it's all based off of the major scale, okay? If I want to sign up to UGS Pro in a few days, can I find the link online? Mark, no. You will on my website right now, but that's going to go away this Saturday, I believe, is what we said. I gotta look at my notes again, but I'm 99% sure that it's going to go away this Saturday. So you definitely want to get in before then because you're going to end up saving it's a crazy amount of money. It's like $400 or $500. It's a crazy amount of money. Yeah. So definitely you want to get in there beforehand, okay? Franz is saying, I was playing for 30 years before finding Eric and his lessons. Been learning with Eric now for 8+ years. Now I just want to grow up to be an Eric Andreas impersonator. He's the best teacher. Thank you, Franz. That's so sweet, man. I truly, truly appreciate that. Been playing for 30 years before finding Eric and his lessons. Been learning now for 8 years. Beautiful. Thank you, Franz. So kind of you. Yeah. Once you know this stuff, man, you can't unknow it. And it just makes all the difference in the world, okay? Eric, I'm working a lot on intervals and don't have a problem going up and down the neck. I still find going across the neck frustrating and challenging. Can you simplify it? Okay, so friends, what we're talking about is intervals, okay? An interval is the distance between notes. The smallest interval on the guitar is a half step. So that's going from here to here. So one note to the next is a half step, right? And then from there we have whole steps, also known as a second. This is a minor second. This is a major second, minor third, major third, right? And so we have the scale. And these notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, the names of those notes are the interval. So if someone says play a major third, we'd go 1, 2, 3. So I'd play that note and that note. They say play a 1, 3, 5, I'd play a 1. I got my 3 already. 4, 5. So that's a D. So I play those 3 notes together. All right? So Davey, one thing that I like to do is I like to know at any point where the 1, 3, 5 is of any chord. And so to practice that, that's really helpful. Think about your, bar chord like this right here. Here is a major triad. 1, 3, 5. And for me, that one's really helpful because at any point I can take those 3 notes, that's on strings 2, 4, 3, and 2. At any point I can take this and move it up and down the fretboard and I've got every major chord. If I do this and lift my second finger up, now I have the minor chord every single time. And so Dave, if you know where the 1, 3, and 5 are at all times, you're only 1 note away from every other note, right? So the 1 can get to the 7 and the 2, the 3 can get to the 2 and the 4, the 5 can get to the 4 and the 6, right? So every note can get to something, so you're only 1 note away from all the other notes. So that's a really helpful thing to remember. Otherwise, Dave, so you're working on your intervals and I don't have a problem going up and down the neck, still find going across the neck frustrating and challenging. If that's what you mean, is identifying what that interval is, I would say, use the 1, 3, 5 method for doing that. Another one you can do too is knowing where the 1, 4, and 5 is at all times. Let me show you. So if we're in the key of G, that's the 1. The 4 is always right underneath it. At least is what I'm going to show you it is. And the 5 is a whole step up. 1, 4, 5, right? Why that's important, because we could come up to this G and do the same thing. And so knowing where the 1, 4, 5 is, we're only one scale step away from all the other notes as well. Same thing. So that's something that you can do, but also, again, I don't try to necessarily know. I'm sure I've worked on intervals before, but to me, just because I can name an interval doesn't mean much for me, for my desires, what I'm trying to do. I've seen people who are really good at being able to do stuff like just be able to name what an interval is. I can go, well, what's that interval? And someone can name it, or I could play 3 notes and they're able to name all the notes. And that's great, very helpful. But it's not very helpful if it doesn't make you more musical, right? If it doesn't make you a better writer or a better player or a better something or another. So to me, that's really important is how do you sound? Because at the end of the day, music is an audible sport. And the only thing really people care about, 99.9% of the people really just care about a good song. Does it sound good? Does it feel good? There's a very small segment of society that's like, oh my gosh, it has to be whatever genre, and it has to be fast, and it has to be the fastest, and whatever. Usually young guitar players or I say young, they're new guitar players. They're, you know, they kind of idolize anybody who can play very, very fast. And it's like, well, that's great. You know, does it sound good? That's important too. Trust me, everybody wants to play faster, but does it sound good? Because I've heard players who can't play very fast sound great, and I've heard players who can play very fast not sound very good. So at the end of the day, I much would rather it sound better. Life lessons plus a lifetime of lessons. That's so kind, Gene. Thank you. All right, so Davey's getting overwhelmed. I'm working on triads and get overwhelmed easily. Yeah, and so inside of a lot of these folks who are in in the chat here, they have UGS Pro already, so I'm directing them to there. So Davey, there is in 365, there's a bunch of interval stuff too, right? Like octaves and just all sorts of things, working on the 135 and all the different denominations like 135, 351, 513. There's others, but and then learning that across the neck, across all the different strings, that's the way to do it. And so 365, I think it's on maybe like Thursday or Friday or something like that, gets involved with all that. And then you have a lesson every single week doing that, right? So I'm a big fan of that. Really, when I say, people get offended at this a lot of times. I say Stevie Ray Vaughan or Steve Vai or whoever, they don't have the guitar memorized. And people say, what do you mean they don't have it memorized? And I'm like, well, what I mean is, like, they're using relativity to understand something, just like you and I are. You may fantasize that they have some sort of magical power. They don't. It's just they're really good at the basics. So good at the basics that it makes other stuff sound just insane. Okay, but really it always comes down to the basics. I've lost my thought. I've lost my train of thought here on this. Oh, I know what it is. Yeah, like for instance, octaves. Like knowing where your octave's at. If somebody said, Eric, what is this note right here? I'd say it's a D sharp. Not because I know this is a D sharp. It's because I know this is a D sharp. Why? Because I know this is a D. Why do I know that's a D? Because when I tune my guitar to a D, that's the note that I use. When this is a D string, and I know that I go to the 5th fret and I tune that. But that's how quickly the brain works, is it just did those 3 or 4 steps very quickly. So somebody says, what's this? I'm like, I don't have that note memorized. Most guitar players don't. But you can say, well, I know that's the octave, the lower octave, and I know that's a half step away from a D, so that is a D sharp, so that's a D sharp. And you do the math real quick. Someone says, Eric, what note is that? I say, that's an F sharp. Why? Well, because I know that this is an E, and I know what follows is F, F, F sharp, and that's an octave of the F sharp. So that's how my brain works, and that's how most people's brain works, is they work with relativity, you know what I mean? You're attaching something that you already know to something else that you don't know, and then that helps you memorize the new thing, and it becomes part and parcel, like a chain. And so, absolutely, like knowing tricks like that, what I call those springboards, those are octave springboards, absolutely so important to know. Okay, so Stiv is saying, speaking of intervals, the chord visualization thing, that's a program that I have inside of my chords and rhythm guitar course. It's also in UGS Pro. The chord visualization thing with the little colored dots you showed us the other day made intervals and springboards and chord shapes obvious. Yes, beautiful, Stiv. Thank you. Thank you so much. Marie Mama, I'm so glad you're saying this because I've been trying to get the note on the piano and it's driving me crazy. I keep getting it wrong. Yeah, it happens, right? It happens. And you only get better through practice. In fact, here's a fun thing to do, guys. I call it, if you want to start becoming great at playing by ear, this is here. First, let me dispel a myth here. When you play by ear, it's not that, a lot of people think, oh, if you hand a guitar to Stevie Ray Vaughan or some other player who plays by ear, they can play any song instantly. whether they know it or not. Maybe, okay, maybe if it's people that know, they would have to know the song. Okay, then they could just play it. It's not true. Or they think that just because you can play by ear means you can just either pick up any instrument or you can pick up any guitar. That's not true. There's a lot of things that people don't understand about this. And really, when we're playing by ear, what we're doing is we're able to hear things that we've always heard, but we're able to decipher some of the things that we're hearing, and we're able to put descriptors and vocabulary and association with it. Okay, so for instance, I give this analogy all the time. A few years ago, back living in Tennessee, I heard a fox for the first time in my life. I'd never heard it. I had the windows open. We lived by the woods, and I heard a fox. Freaked me out because I never heard a fox before, and it sounds like a woman screaming at night in the woods over and over again. But it doesn't increase. It doesn't get worse. It doesn't get better. It's just the same thing over and over again. Really weird. Anyhow, I was telling a buddy of mine about this, and he said, man, that sounds like a fox to me. So I go online on YouTube. I search for fox sounds. I hear a fox. I'm like, that's a sound. That's it. That's the demon or the lady that I was hearing at night. Okay, now, anytime that I hear a fox, I know exactly what it is, and it's not someone being murdered, and it's not some crazy animal. It's a fox, a cute little fox, right? So I don't get scared. But now I'm able to identify the same thing that I've always heard, right? So I say all the time, a newborn baby listening to Beethoven's Fifth is going to hear all the same key changes, chord progressions, everything, the exact same way as Jacob Collier, or fill in the blank of some guitar or music aficionado who's amazing at what they do, right? Stevie Wonder. They hear all the same stuff. The difference between the two is the baby may not be able to identify the key changes in the chords and these sorts of things because it doesn't know to associate with that. And it's quite overwhelming as a baby to hear something like that at first when our ears are hearing things supposedly for the first time, right? So that being said, as you start learning and knowing what to do with the cues that you're getting, now you're playing by ear. Okay, and one of the things that I was going to tell you to do is hum and hunt, and this is part of the series that I'm giving you guys, right? The top 50 plus lessons, links in the description of the video. Make sure you go to that. It's very important because I have that lesson in there for you. Okay, and it's called hum and hunt, and basically what you do is you hum a note. Now notice what I did just now. I hummed a note, and I played this note first as a guess, like a hypothesis. I think it's here, but it wasn't. It was here. If I had perfect pitch, I would have grabbed here. My son has perfect pitch. He can just hear a note. He'll tell you what it is. But he doesn't practice, so he's not a good musician, but he's got perfect pitch. So what I did is I said, that note's lower than, How do I know that? Because I went down. So you know the difference between high and low, okay? And that's all you're doing. Now that sounds right. And the only thing I'm doing is humming and hunting for the note. The rule is you just pick one string. I like shooting for this area on the 5th string because it's usually about in my vocal range. And then I just go either down in half steps or up in half steps. Don't skip any notes and don't jump to different strings, because if you're doing that, that's like losing a ring in a field and then looking over there and over there and over here and there and in your underwear and whatever. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You want to sweep the field, right? Okay, get it? Got it? Good. Thank you, Marine Mama. So sweet. Yep, that's pretty cool. What does the fox say? Yeah, the fox says, it says some crazy sound. It's like, no, it's more like, that's pretty good, actually. It's about what a fox sounds like. It's like this, but it's a screech. It's freaky. All right, we've got time. We've got a half hour. How can I help you? How can I let you move to the next level? And while I'm waiting for your question here, you know, basically what UGS Pro is, I mean, I taught for decades before creating this system. I've taught over 10,000 one-on-one lessons before creating this system. And I was like, man, I'm on YouTube. These people are watching me, and they keep asking for more. So I wrote a book. I wrote several books, a bunch of ebooks, and then I started creating courses. And that's how we got to where we are today. I started UGS Pro in 2012, so it's been 14, 15 years strong here now. We're not going anywhere, and we're going live every month, multiple times. You're talking over 1,000 lessons of the best stuff. It's all the stuff that I've learned over the years, living in Nashville for over 30 years, working with pros, working with songwriters. There's a whole section on songwriting. There's a whole, I should say we have a whole course on songwriting. That's separate from UGS Pro, but all sorts of things about songwriting and construction and composition and that sort of thing. Soloing, fingerstyle guitar, theory, step by step. You can't mess it up. I'm serious. There are 3 fox kits living under the deck in our yard. They are cute but loud. Kind of like, oh, I love that, living under your deck. Aww. Can you show a G9? I see it 2 ways. Okay, let's talk about this for just a moment. Sometimes I'll play a G chord like this. And people say, well, that's not the way to play a G chord. Someone taught me you play it like this. And it's like, they're both the same, they're both G chords. And you say, well, but how can they both be the same when they're both different? Well, because if we go with the definition, a G chord is the 1, 3, and 5 from the G major scale. So if we play a 1, a 3, and a 5, 1, 3, 5, then anything with a GBD in it, in any fashion, right? All those are G chords because they all have GBDs in them. So when we're talking about a G9, so this is where we come up with chord formulas, and I have many courses for you regarding this that will absolutely revolutionize this for you. One of them is the visualization method, and that's part of what I'm going to show you now. So the G9 chord, you have to know what the formula is. So a G chord is a 1, 3, 5. When we're talking about, so when we stack harmonies, we stack them by skipping notes, like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. That's why you hear those chords. Yeah, there are 6 chords. There are other intervals that we might put in there, but for the most part, we skip notes, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Okay, and then that's about where we stop. And so when we say G9, we mean a G major chord, but put a 9 interval in it. And realistically, what we mean is it's a 7th chord because we always include the interval that's underneath it as well, usually. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So if it says 9, then technically it's a 7th chord, but we throw the 9 in there as well. So if it's so follow my logic. We know how to play a G major chord. A G7 has that interval in it right there. And the 9, you just play through the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I could play that interval, that note right there, because it's a 9, and throw that in there with the 7 and the rest of the G major chord, and we have that sound. You just need to put a 9 in it. Does that make sense? So take a 7th chord, take a G7 chord, and put a 9 in it. So there's a 9, that's a 9. I could take this G major chord, make it a 7th, because remember the G9 assumes that there's a 7 in it. Now some of you guys are getting lost. Don't worry. You have to do this stuff stepwise, right? So some of you, everybody's in a different place on the continuum. Some people started decades ago. Some people have been practicing 8 hours a day, so don't feel guilty. You are where you are, and welcome to that area, all right? And then just move on from there. So a G7 chord is a G major chord, but it also has a flat 7 in there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, flat 7, and then we throw that note in there in the chord. So we take a G major chord, we make it a G7 chord, and then we throw the 9 in there. And here's a 9. It's an A, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's an A. So I'm going to find an A up here, because it works well from my fingering, and so that's also a 9th chord. You know? This is a 9th chord. So there's all sorts of different ways we can do this. And when you learn, when you memorize, this is what people do when they start playing guitars. They go, oh, I'm going to memorize this thing. Okay, cool. And then they come across something else and they're like, I'm going to memorize that too. And now they know 2 things. Great. Nothing wrong with this. Everybody does it. But what happens if you have 1,000 things you need to know? Well, now you got to memorize all 1,000 things. Why don't you learn a method that will show you how to do it in real time? There are chords that I've never played that if you asked me to play, I could come up with the formula, because it's just a formula. If you can count from 1 to 7, you can get this, okay? And so, I mean, I did count to 9, but I mean, that's 7 plus 2, right? So that's how I think about it, 7 plus 2, because the scale is 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And so you just add to that if you want to get set 9s and 11s and 13s. But really, it's the same note. It's just an octave higher. Does that make sense? All right. Good stuff. 62 of you still strong in here. We got another 24 minutes, so I'm here for you, okay? Analog Kid, anything new with Gabriel the Bull? Thanks for asking, Analog Kid. For those of you who don't know what GTB is, it's Gabriel the Bull. It's the name of my band, and we've got some killer, and when I say killer, they're great. I'm really proud of them. We have some killer videos online, and the music is great. Best band I've ever been in. So happy to be in the band, to represent the guitars in that one. And we just check out the videos, Gabriel the Bull on YouTube. And nothing new, except I should say my guitar player was down here this weekend. He left on Sunday. He was down here and we hung out, talked shop, walked on the beach, hung out and everything. And he was saying that Gabe was wanting to come down here and do another kind of trip. So band trip here. So we may be doing that, but not playing out anywhere right now. So, you know, I know it goes way back, but the baseball cap suits you much better than the old top hat. Thanks, Davey. Yeah, I didn't really wear that top hat. Like, that was like a shoot that I did with a buddy of mine who's like, man, I want to do a shoot at this one place. And I'm like, cool, I'll do it. Yeah. Nice. Thank you, Marine Mama. I can't find the link where it is on my phone. It's crap to look at. Mark, in the description of this video, okay? And if somebody has access to it, go to the description of the video, put it in the chat, that'd be great. I don't know if that'll work or not, but Mark, it's in the description of the video. That'll take you to the page, to the landing page that has all the information, okay? Thank you, Marine Mama. I love tuning the guitar in G. That's when I play alto bridge. Sounds so pretty. Nice. I actually have some guitars tuned differently. I just keep staring at them now. Oh, yes, master each step. That's what saved me, one thing at a time. Exactly. You can't do more than one thing at a time. In fact, one of the first few videos, in fact, I think you guys might have access to this in that top 50. I say top 50, it's more than 50. But one of the things that I cover in there is the juggling unicyclist on a tightrope. And I talk about this guy in a circus who juggles and rides a unicycle on a tightrope while he's telling jokes, whatever. And so you go, how does someone do that, right? You watch them and you say, how can they do that? I can't even juggle 2 things. He's juggling 3 things, and he's on a unicycle and he's on a tightrope. That's crazy. And he's talking, keeping us entertained. Well, it's because the conscious mind can only think of one thing at a time. The subconscious mind can think of many things at a time. How many? I don't know. But since it's not really thinking, since it's more like muscle memory and there's some other part of our wherewithal that's able to do this, I don't know, maybe an infinite amount of things, but nonetheless, there's lots of things that we can do all at the same time, okay? So that juggling unicyclist on a tightrope learned how to do all those things separately, right? Walk on a tightrope separately, ride a unicycle separately, juggle separately. And before doing that, he wasn't juggling 4 knives, he was juggling 2 tennis balls. And before a unicycle, he rode a bike, right? Before on the tightrope was 50 feet up in the air, it was a few inches in the air, right? So this is how we learn. We learn step by step. And whenever you feel that overwhelmed feeling, it's because you're overwhelming yourself, or you're demanding too much from yourself in that moment. Again, I love David Goggins. I love people that push. I'm all about pushing, get beyond your limits and everything else. But you need to be realistic in the time frame that you're doing things. So if you say, I'm going to be better than Eddie Van Halen, I think that's a great goal. Awesome. I honestly don't think it's a great goal, but I'd say if you say, I want to be as well known as Eddie Van Halen, okay, that's a little bit more precise, okay? I've lost my train of thought again. Where was I going with that? Someone remind me. I've got to go back a little bit. Mastering each step, yeah. So everybody has to learn these things step by step. And if you don't overwhelm yourself, then you can get there. But if you overwhelm yourself, then you start lying and you start believing things that just aren't true. And and look, are you joking me? How can both political parties be completely right, right? But everybody knows they are. Both sides know they are. And everybody on the opposite of everything. Name it. I don't care what it is, politics, it doesn't matter what it is. The opposite always thinks that it's right. And you're like, yeah, but I know I'm right. I know. But just understand that, right? So, one step at a time, learn this stuff, and you're going to be fine. Don't overwhelm yourself, okay? Okay, good. That totally helped. Excellent. All right, Eric, I totally agree with you about the useful practicality of making music. Maybe I should have said scale degrees instead of intervals. No, that's fine too. Like I said, for me, Davey, it's more like this. If I play, okay, if I do this and I say, like, I don't know what the intervals are. I could figure out, but I don't care. What I care is, what do they sound like? Because that's the game we're playing, not the numbers game. It's good to know intervals. Not saying that's not, but for me, that's the one, obviously. But I also know it just sounds great. I know I should bend this guy. And to me, it's more like the flavor of the notes in my ears as I play them. And I go, I like that. I didn't go, I went, that sounds better, right? So you can feel your way through this stuff. You can get there. And so for me, the scale degrees are less important unless there's a reason. So like if somebody says, man, can you play the flat 7 there? Then I would need to know what that is. Or if I was playing an arpeggio, right? So an arpeggio is, if I need to know what the notes of the chord are, So I would need to know what those notes are in order to be able to play that. And so, like, there's nothing wrong with understanding the neck more. So in different times, yeah, it's definitely helpful. I play in a band in the UK called Nervous Rectum. Your lessons make us better. Thank you, Mark. God, that's a great name, Nervous Rectum. Of course, it's a UK band. That's amazing. Hopefully you guys are punk, right? Want to get good. It's a lot of practice, and you really got to commit to it. It's the bottom line, people. Yeah, and here's the deal. What I've learned is if you focus on the right stuff, you can get good quickly. You really, truly can. Okay? I mean, I'm not saying you're going to learn guitar in 7 days. There's lots of things you can learn in 7 days on the guitar. You still have to practice. Your fingers need to move to the right places, and you need to be accurate, right? That requires practice. But you absolutely, if you focus, it's not nearly as daunting as you might think. Not nearly. But we are right, Eric. You know what I mean? Yes. Here's a goal. To be a good student as Eric is a teacher. Thank you, Buck. That's super kind, buddy. Super kind. 58 of you still in here. We got 14 minutes yet. All right, Daisy saying, I'm a keyboard player, singer in a couple of tribute bands. Love that, love tribute bands. When learning a song, I usually have to learn how to play the left hand part, then the right hand part, then both together, then add vocals. Beautiful. Thank you for adding that, Daisy. Why is that, friends? Let's talk about this for just a second. It's because what Daisy is doing is she is taking her conscious mind, which can only handle one input at a time, no matter what they tell you about multitasking. Multitasking is, I'm going to cook an egg while I got toast in the oven. While those are going, I'm going to get out some coffee and some orange juice. I'm going to squeeze some orange juice or whatever, right? That's multitasking. You got things going on. You got things on the burner. But you're not focused on the toast. Otherwise, you'd have to sit there. You can only do one thing at a time. You can only be focused on one thing at a time. This is a super powerful thing to do in your life. If you do this, and you really, really do it, I've gotten good at this to where it's automatic, and I can watch myself trying to disassemble something or figure out the end of it, and I'm very logical and so much better than I used to be. As opposed to just, my mom, she's on the phone, she's like, we joke all the time because she's trying to do something. She's all getting handsy, thumbs, you know what I mean? She's like, it's not going to react that way. It reacts when you hit the right icon and the right syntax and everything else, right? You can get mad at it, you can throw it, still not going to fix the thing. So step by step. And what Daisy's doing is starting the left hand first, right, the bass part, and then the right hand part. The reason she's doing this is because she has to drill this into her subconscious brain enough times to where this is not something she thinks about anymore. And then she works on the right hand, gets that down. Now, when she's doing this and she looks at her right hand, the left hand is doing its thing. It's getting there. It's still making mistakes, but it's getting there. And then vice versa. When she looks at her left hand, she's got to keep that right hand going. And so you get better and better at this. You build neural synapses. You build myelin around those neural synapses. This is the way our brain works. And then now all of a sudden you've done it enough times, like Stevie Ray or Eddie Van Halen, that you don't think about it. You're just giggling on stage because it's just so dang fun, right? So same thing. And then she sings, right? So one of the things that I have inside of, I got lots of things about breaking, how to break a guitar lesson down, how to break a guitar solo down, how to break a fingerstyle piece down, how to break songs down, right? So like how to sing and play guitar at the same time. It's all about breaking things down. So, if you have lyrics and melody and chords and strumming to play the song out live, then in a solo, then you want to break all that stuff down, right? You want to say, well, what are the chords first? Do I know the chords? Yes, I do. Can I do the chord transitions in time? Yes, I can. If any of these are no, then you work on that thing before you move to the next thing. Can I work all those chords together in a chord progression? Yes, I can. Can I play it up to speed? Yes. Okay, good. The chords are taken care of. Oh, can I strum them? Nah, I need to work on the strumming. Work on the strumming before you work on something else. Because working on the strumming while you're working on the vocal part and you don't have the strumming down is not going to work. Because your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. So if you're trying to really drive yourself nuts, if you're really trying to frustrate yourself and make yourself feel bad, do them both at the same time. But if you are not like that, just learn the strumming part and learn the strumming part separately and then add the chords to it, just like I teach you, right? And then memorize the lyrics separately. Work on the melody. Bring the lyrics in with the melody. However you can break it down, slow it down, which is another lesson that I'm giving you there in that series. Break it down, slow it down. It's so important to understand how to do this, okay? And yes, it is really good for your brain. Super good. Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes. Building rhythm versus BPM. Tyler, let me know what you mean by that. Is that a question? Building rhythm versus BPM? Let me know what you mean by that. Okay. As stated in Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, don't lean your ladder against the wrong wall. Practice the stuff you really want to learn. Oh, beautiful. I read that book back in the day, so maybe something stuck with me there. That's a great book, great mind, too. Don't lean your ladder against the wrong wall. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Think about the millions of things that you aren't doing right now in this moment because they just don't interest you, I have no interest in being an NBA basketball player. Got nothing against it. I just doesn't float my boat. It's not what I'm looking to do. So how good am I at it? Not very good because it's not a desire of mine. Growing up, I loved playing music. I loved music. My brother, not so much. He liked music a little bit, but he really liked cars. What does my brother do for a living? He sells cars. What do I do for a living? I play music, okay? So you're typically going to do what you want to do. Okay, building rhythm versus BPM. Yes, as in 3/4, 6/8 versus 4/4 and BPM. Okay, so BPM is beats per minute. So if you have something that's 60 beats per minute, then it's 1, 2, it's every second, right? If it's 120 beats per minute, that's all BPM is. So, and it'll usually say quarter note equals 120 or 60 or whatever note, right? And things like 3/4, 6/8, 4/4, like what those are referring to is time signatures. So for instance, if a song's in 4/4, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, get all that delay, man. Right? 2, 3, 4. Right? So that's a song that's in 4. A song that would be in 6/8 would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or you can count that in 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But usually 1, 3 is going to be like 1, 2. Let's see, it would be like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. It's basically a very similar feel, but usually kind of like slower. Like we could even say like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Or we can count that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? They got a real similar feel too. Just like anything, when the numbers like a 3 or 6 or 12, they can be similar. Whereas a 4 and an 8, 16, those can be similar as well. Does that make sense? Let me know if you need what you need more of. Man, your cat looks just like my cat, man. I love black cats. We've had so many growing up because we go to the shelter and those are the ones that folks don't want, and we love black cats, so why not? Marie Mama saying, I'm telling you, this has been so therapeutic for me, this live lesson. Thank you, Daisy, for that suggestion. I'm definitely going to look at it tomorrow. My husband's going to kill me. Oh, Marie Mama, thank you. God bless you. Blessings to you and quick healing. Mark is saying, is the UGS thing step-by-step, like starting at the beginning? It can be, yeah. I mean, I definitely don't start you in the advanced section, but you know, you go where you're comfortable, but it absolutely starts you at ground one because that's where everybody starts. And I wouldn't ever create a system where someone couldn't start from ground one, right? From the beginning. But we're talking over 1,000 lessons, so it's like, it's an insane amount of lessons, but it's step by step, and it's like, okay, this is the path that I want to go. I want to learn this thing and this thing and this thing. I'm going to go down that path, or I want to learn this thing and this thing and this thing. I'm going to go down that path. Absolutely step by step. You can't mess it up. Oh, and it's a 60-day money-back guarantee. So again, you can't mess that up either. You get it, you like it, you take advantage of the deal that we've got going on right now, and you're going to get in there, you're going to fall in love with it like 99% of the people do. And if you don't, if you're one of the 1%, then you email me and you say, Eric, didn't like it, want my money back, please. That's all you got to do, and I'll do it. No problem. I want happy customers. Daisy is saying, break it down, slow it down. That's vital. Good news. If you're learning by ear, YouTube allows you to slow down the speed of tunes to learn them while keeping them in the same key. Absolutely. Super helpful. Very, very, very helpful. All right, we're going to go just a couple minutes here yet. I want to make sure that I've got everybody's questions answered. Again, you know, we do this one time a year, right? It's called Your Guitar Breakthrough because my idea is, oh, thank you so much. Beautiful. My idea on it is if you follow these lessons in order, you literally will have a massive guitar breakthrough. In fact, you're going to have many because I know what I have included in that series, and there are so many aha moments that you're going to have. And even if you've been playing for a while, I've had folks that are veterans of guitar that have been in there playing guitar for a long time, and they say, "Dude, this stuff that was in the beginner series, there was stuff there I just never learned, was never taught." Me neither, because a lot of teachers don't know how to teach. Or they don't want to teach, they'd rather be playing or something. For me, I've always loved doing both. I love teaching, I love playing. But I love getting ideas across to people, so that's what I think why I love teaching so much. Some people, I mean, a lot of guys like in Nashville and stuff, they hated teaching, they hated it. They would get mad at students if they just didn't get it right away. And I'm like, well, that's just not the way it works. It's not the way you did it, so why would you expect that somebody else would do that too, right? But you are not going to mess up doing that series. You're going to absolutely, and it's absolutely free for you, right? Pay what you want, pay what you can, pay nothing if you can't. It's there for you. Go through that series, and then of course we have these 2 live lessons there to get your questions answered, because I want to make sure that you got no excuses and that you can crush it, right? Do you have a measuring tool to evaluate where someone is strong and where they need to work on it? Tyler, yeah, it's called a one-on-one lesson, you know, that's the measuring tool. You need another guitar player to say, hey, I think you could use some help here or whatever. But honestly, I'm a much bigger fan of what do I want? What do you want, Tyler? Because if you want to play punk and you play sloppily, that's part of punk, so that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. And someone else might say, well, you play sloppily. Well, that's the point. It's punk music. You don't want it to sound clean. If it did, it's not punk music anymore, right? So, but also, Tyler, I suspect that you know, because it's an audible sport. You know when the ball goes out of bounds. When you hit a wrong note, you know it. And so you go, I need to correct that. And then you correct it. And then you get good at correcting mistakes to where you don't make as many anymore, you know? Marie Mama said, I taught myself, so I had to break a lot of bad habits. You taught me how to play correctly. Yay. Love that. Last time I took private lessons, the cost was $20 a half hour. Yep. And $20 a half hour is insanely cheap. I haven't taught that cheap in 20 years. That's insanely cheap. But also, Depends on if that person's good, right? It doesn't matter how cheap it is if they can't get you across the finish line of where it is that you want to go. But absolutely, Stiv is saying, yeah, you're talking, these lessons are, think of over 1,000 lessons, and you get all the lives. I mean, you get in on all the lives, 3 lives with me every single month, which is just, in and of itself, is just going to be very helpful to you, Thank you so much, Davey. So kind. I appreciate that. Tyler's saying, for me, I can play bar chords, and we're going to go here in just a minute, my friends. For me, I can play bar chords and regular chords. Switching is slow. Strumming, I struggle. Yeah, so Tyler, number one, first thing is make sure you get the top 50 lessons. Go through the strumming section and go through each level at a time like I teach you in that video. You're going to get it. But you have to go through it step by step, and you can't assume that it's just going to happen all at once. I don't think you're that kind of person, but many people are, and so it just didn't work like that. It's never worked that way for anybody. So go through it step by step. You'll get there, and you'll get through there cheap, I want to build in worship style guitar player. I want to build into okay, and I actually have a course that I did with one of the top worship players and session players in Nashville. I actually have a worship guitar course that I can point you to that we did. It is on Udemy. It's the only place that you can get it right now. I'm 99% sure. Do we sell that one? I don't know. You have to look on my. If it's not on my, YourGuitarSage store, then you might find it. Then you're gonna find it on Udemy. The cheapness was a long time ago. Yeah. Okay. Can't beat the lives. They're the best. Yay! I feel so much better right now. Yay, Marine Mama, love it. Oh, Tyler bought it today. Excellent, Tyler. Well, hit me up when you're in there if you have any issues with anything. Watch the welcome videos because those are most important. So, hand for Tyler there. Yeah, that's our studio audience that we have here. Great job, Tyler. Love that you are in. And yeah, hit me up if you have any questions in it, and just follow the path. You know what I mean? Follow the path that you desire. That's the way to do this and to get amazing at this, okay? Oh, the 50 lessons. Gotcha. Okay, excellent. Got the 50 lessons. Excellent. Well, that's good too, man. That'll take you pretty far, man. It'll take you pretty far. If you want to go in deeper, sale for all this stuff ends on Saturday. So, yeah. Let me know how I can help you, my friends. I'm available to you. Get in. If you haven't already, take advantage of those plus 50 lessons that I have for you. They're totally free. Pay what you can. Pay what you want. I want to make sure that you have everything at your behest and you can just crush this, okay? All right. Love you guys. Got some nice last minutes coming in here. So welcome, Wendy. Yeah, beautiful. Yep. If you want to learn how to play guitar and you're a veteran, if you're a U.S. veteran, I have a special deal for U.S. veterans. Just go to YourGuitarSage.com. And click on the veterans link, okay? Beautiful, thank you so much, Winter. Do you think guitar prices will ever come down to pre-COVID prices? They're cheap, no, they're cheaper now than ever. You want a guitar, now's the time to get them because COVID, everybody bought a guitar, and now they're selling them, so absolutely. Oh yeah, don't forget about the bot, Sage bot. It's my AI version. It's an AI agent that I spent a lot of money having created. Mike created this for me. It's based on my books, based on my videos, based on my seminars, all the rest, plus the universal truths of music and guitar. And man, it's amazing. Ask it anything. Along with these 50 lessons, along with lives and what have you, it's gonna change it. Promise. Marine Mama, thank you for all your kind words. Eric, you're the best. Love you all. Thank you. So sweet. Thank you, Daisy Ash. You want to play sloppily well in a punk band, Nervous Rectum, or Sloppy Good. Love it. Yeah, you're so welcome, Tyler. So glad you're in. Thanks, Analog Kid. Yeah, used market is super low right now. Absolutely. Now's the time to buy guitars, okay? Mike, yeah, thank you so much, Mike, for helping out with that. Sorry for the screw up in the beginning there if anybody was thrown off base, okay? Beautiful. Love you guys. I'm out of here. Let me know how I can help. Hit me up.